Oh, my friends, take the children out of the room because Sherry and Sam had sex, and we are going to talk about it today. Oh my goodness, it was hot. Sherry and Sam, they got up in it. They got down on it. They got dirty. They got hot. They got sweaty. I am so satisfied. I am so thrilled. I am so happy beyond belief. It was so freaking amazing. Hi everyone, it's Allie. And welcome to my YNR chat for Sunday, July 3rd. It is a little bit of a holiday weekend here in the United States, so I am just doing an audio only version this week. I know some of you are going to be disappointed by that, but trust me, it's going to be just as good as if you were seeing my ugly mug. So we're going to talk all about it. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. So it started out date night for Sherry and Sam. Sam comes into the barn and he has O'Keefe, his dog, with him. And he starts kind of sheepishly, like a little boy, trying to ask Sharon out on a date. And they're gonna go up to the local drive-in movie theater, and nobody has to see Sharon. She can remain anonymous. Just a drive-in movie, maybe a little something to eat, just enjoying each other's company. Basically, Sam had that one smooch last week, and he wanted more. He was coming back for more. And he brought the dog with him, so she couldn't say no. So they both prepare for their date. Sam goes off with his dog. Sharon realizes that she has nothing to wear on this date. So the little girl Piper comes in, tells Sharon that she can borrow some of her mother's clothes. And Sharon transforms herself from being this farmhand, this grungy farmhand, into a beautiful farm princess. She puts on this light white summer dress with a fresh daisy in her hair, and she gets ready for her first date with Sam, her first date in so long, and it's just, the vibe is so sweet. There's just something about it that's so innocent and just pure, and I am thinking to myself, how can anyone not be loving this? I know that there are some of you out there that are like, why does she even care about Sharon and Sam? I mean, you can almost tell it's fleeting, but a reason is, I just feel like everything that sucked about Sharon's trial and everything that happened with her killing Sky, it was like months of this just drain, has been totally redeemed with the Sam and Sherry storyline. It's like, I was getting to the point with Sharon where it was like, I didn't even know who she was anymore. And now with this, I feel like it's a fresh start for her. And I have been feeling it. I just have been feeling it. And I was thrilled with their cute, adorable little date. But things really quickly went awry. I mean, first thing, it's light white summer dress with a fresh daisy in her hair. The next thing, it's Sharon calling Sam. He's late for the date. He's hours late for the date. I mean, this dude has been wanting to get up on her for since she got there. I mean, for him, I just get the feeling it was like a love at first sight thing. And now he's not even showing up for the date. And I'm thinking, what on earth could be holding him up? Well, Sam finally, after hours of Sharon waiting, Sam finally bursts into the barn. And I even know how to describe it. He was like a completely different person. He was stumbling around. He was disoriented. And he had red eyes. Like, his eyes just looked so red. And I'm looking at him thinking, is Sam a secret coke addict or something? Like, does Sam have a secret drug problem? Because it didn't even, at first, it honestly did not even seem like he was drunk. He seemed like, it was just like a 180, man. Like, he was just this totally different guy. He's stumbling around the barn. Sharon's mad at him for one thing, he stood her up. And for another thing, now, what's wrong with him? Who is this dude? I mean, it's not even the same guy. And he starts saying really mean things to Sharon. I mean, he's basically, obviously, angry about something, and he starts throwing in these little jabs, at her, and like she said, maybe I should just move along, and he comes back with, yeah, maybe you should, you run away, that's what you do. And it got really dark for a moment. Sharon, of course, realizes that he's drunk. Seriously, I thought he was on drugs. And just when things are looking like, wow, they just have decided to destroy this relationship, Sam opens up that the reason he's drunk and destroyed is because, you guys, his dog died. O'Keefe, the big old dog, who we've seen twice, died unexpectedly. And I ask you, what is it with Y&R and killing dogs? I mean, this is like the second dog that has died on the show within the past year, maybe year and a half. It's like, do they just know how to get to me? They know what's gonna just pull at my heartstrings? Freaking Sam's dog, that big old dog, is dead. And we all know that Sam was very close with his dog. That was his best friend. I mean, he's off. He lives on his own on this farm and has this job. And that was his best friend. He's not married. That was who he relates to. I relate to that. His dog was his best buddy, and now apparently the dog just had a stroke and died. And what followed was Sam telling the story about how he had to see the dog have this stroke, and he had to try to help him, and he ultimately had to put the dog down and take him and bury him, and he got drunk. It was the only way he could deal with it. I think it was so hard on him because it was so unexpected. Sam just did not see that coming. And isn't that the way it always happens? Something catches you, and you weren't expecting it, and you fall apart. And that's exactly what happened to him. He was just ruined over this. And Sharon is comforting him. I mean, she knows how important the dog was to him, and she sees this man in pain, and she realizes that he has just opened up his heart. He didn't use it as an excuse. He, to get closer to her. He didn't even want to tell her at first. It wasn't until after he stumbled around acting like a total jerk and he realized it that, that he decided that he had to tell her. I tell you, I found Sam to be so just compelling this week. I actually went to Google. This is how good he was. I never do this. For the most part, I don't care what people's, who the actors are, what their life is like. I mean, they're fictional to me in my brain. I stick to the character and the story, and I don't pay a whole lot of attention, as you guys know, to what happens in with the, soap world. But it prompted me to look up who in the world it is that plays Sam. And apparently, his name is Sean Patrick Flannery. I'm sure you all know this. I don't know this. I did not know this. His name is Sean Patrick Flannery. And the only thing I have seen him in was Boondock Saints. And I only saw the first movie. And I don't remember it that well. So he was a complete unknown to me. I had no clue. But the second I Googled him, you guys, you have to Google Sam. And Google Sean Patrick. You have to Google Sean Patrick Flannery and do an image search for him. And there's like all of these shirtless, sexy photos of this guy that I had no clue existed. I mean, I've been seeing this guy as this country farmer, and then I Google image the dude, and he's like, yeah, look at my chest. You know, he's all got these sexy glamour shots out there. So you have to do it. You have to see it if you haven't already. I'm sure I'm the only one who had no clue who in the world he was, but it made me see this guy in kind of a different way. See, I saw him before as, sexy rugged. And now I'm just seeing him like sexy, like all around sexy. And I'm not the only one. So Sharon helps Sam get back up to the house because he's, obviously disoriented. She takes him into his bedroom and she helps him get his shirt off. And she's gonna put him to bed. And just in the darkness of this night, on this most emotional night, Sam reaches out his hand to Sharon and he says, "Don't go. Stay with me." And of course, at first she's hesitant. There's a soft breeze blowing in through the windows, by the way. But Sharon is hesitant. She doesn't want to jump into this, she's attracted to him, but she's had bad experiences. I mean, all of her experiences with men have been disastrous. But in this one moment, he takes her hand and they embrace and they begin to kiss and they're looking each other right in the eyes, and it's very connection. They're making a mental, it's not just physical, there's a mental connection there. And almost fluidly, effortlessly, Sam just lays Sharon down on the bed. And she's apparently also borrowed from Piper's mother a pair of crisp, bright, angel white panties and bra matching set. And she just helps him screw his pain away. And I was rooting for it. I was like, take that pain away, Sherry. You just make him forget all about that dog. You just do him. Just get down. Just get hard on him, Sharon. On his quilt. In what was probably his grandmother's bed. Just do him. I'm sorry. This is the R rated. This is for the mature adults only crowd today. But it was so good. You cannot tell me you did not think that was good. I felt it 100%. 100%. But I'm going to have to enjoy it while I can, because I know it is not going to last. They showed previews from Monday's show. On Friday's show, they showed the preview of Monday's show. Oh, it's going to be so good. I can't wait. They showed Sharon sitting down at the desk next to the bed where Sam is passed out and where they've obviously just had sex. And she's writing him a letter, and she's telling him, essentially, there's so much that I want to tell you. there's so much more that you need to know about me. And in the background, they're showing, or like, she's thinking and remembering. There's a memory montage of Sharon's entire life. I mean, from the moment she got here, which was right around the time I started watching the show, from the moment she got into Genoa City up until, with her, who she was, her relationship with Nick, her many relationships with Nick, her family, her relationship with Adam, everything. There's going to be a beautiful memory montage, all while Sharon is writing this letter to Sam, but I have a feeling that she's just going to tell him that she's going to leave him. She's going to leave him this letter and leave him, and that is so wrong. That is so wrong, because Sam he is emotional. He's in an emotional place. He is vulnerable right now. And if she wasn't going to stick around, she shouldn't have done it. She shouldn't have done him. I'm lying. I still wanted it. But in theory, okay, the right thing to do is not to just, do him and leave him. We all know that. I hope I'm wrong. I'm hope that she decides to stay around, but I really don't think so, because parallel in Genoa City, Phyllis has come into contact with the guy who was working on those memory cards for her. Do you remember that back when Adam and Phyllis went to Thailand and they were trying to track down that video that Sharon took of Sky, basically proving her innocence, showing that she didn't kill her, that the Sky thing was an accident. Well, this guy who was working on the memory cards gets back with Phyllis how many months later? Tells her he's got these memory cards. He wasn't able to make any progress, but maybe she wants to. And Adam overhears this whole thing. So Adam has now got his hands on a couple of different batches of memory cards. And he's searching through. He's hoping that he's going to be able to find the one that will prove Sharon's innocence. Finally. And, the cute thing, the great thing about this, the thing that I really especially like, is that Adam is involving Noah in this process. He's asking Noah to help him sort through the memory cards to find this evidence. And I really like the interaction between Adam and Noah. I feel like there's something sensitive there. There's a sensitivity. There's something special between them. That's, it's not typical. I mean, every other man in Genoa City has a contentious relationship with Adam. Adam has no male friends whatsoever. Maybe that's it. But, there just seems to be this connection. Like, I think to Adam, he looks at Noah and he sees a part of Sharon, which is the best part of Adam. Which is why I've been so torn over this Sam thing. I really did want it to happen. I guess maybe this is the best way it should have happened, because ultimately I really do like Sharon and Adam together. I really like what Sharon does to the character of Adam. I think she redeems him. I think she's his better half in every conceivable way. So I enjoy the relationship between Noah and Adam. I think that they are very close to finding the evidence that they need to clear Sharon's name. Whether Sharon will return to Genoa City before or after they get that evidence, I don't know. But I am looking forward to it. The storyline is definitely making some progress. I think we're going to be seeing Sharon back in Genoa City very soon. Well, I certainly hope that you all care about Sherry and Sam as much as I do, because I just spent 20 minutes talking about it. If the Sam and Sherry storyline doesn't interest you at all, I'm sorry. Well, why don't we move on to a topic that it's really been very divisive, I have to say. The Lucy situation, Phyllis and Billy and Victoria and Lucy, has been a storyline that has, I think, been it has divided the community of Y&R fans, because I just, usually there's kind of one side of each argument. I feel like for the most part it's kind of like we all sort of see things the same way. It's, we perceive the storylines pretty similarly. And this has just been, I'm surprised at how many different opinions there are. And I think that is what, in a way, I've resisted the Phyllis and Lucy and all that storyline for a while. I've not fully been into it because I just hated it. I hate custody cases, but I really think that this has been a successful storyline for exactly that reason. The fact that it has really made us debate. We have really talked about what should happen to Lucy, who is right, who is wrong. I mean, and we feel very strongly about it. I think I've struggled with it too because I really can see things from pretty much every angle. I really truly can see Billy and Victoria's point of view. I can see Daniel's point of view. I can see Phyllis's point of view. And so it's been hard to argue in any one direction. This week, Phyllis is finding herself so alone. She is so alone. And this is a woman who has lots of friends, lots of family. She always has people coming and going in her life. And now there's no one. She has won her custody case. She's brought Lucy home. She's now raising her, she's now a single mother raising 2 children. And it's starting to sink into her. No friends, no family, no job, raising 2 children on her own. So she starts to question herself. And it was very powerful. She starts to question whether or not she did the right thing. Hey, she may have won, but did she really win? And what did she win? And furthermore, what if the entire issue of Lucy's custody for her was about winning? Now I'll give it to you because that is a point that has been made to me by you on several occasions, and I didn't buy it. So I was very shocked to hear Phyllis admit all of this. Fluently admitting that she may have just done this for herself and not for Lucy. It was very powerful. Nick came over to visit her, and he is who she was opening up to about all of this. And she had a total breakdown to him. And she said to him, "Who am I? Who am I? Because when I look into the mirror, I don't know who I am, and I don't like what I see." It was a total breakdown by Phyllis, and it was really hard, and I'm sure that the fans needed to hear that, because I feel like everybody has been looking at Phyllis like she's just this wicked witch for what she's doing, but I see her point of view. Lucy is her granddaughter, and I feel like I would fight for my granddaughter too. So it's for this reason that there are so many facets. I mean, this storyline has layers, you guys. I mean, none of us, nobody's all right. That's the thing. Nobody is all right. There's not one side that's completely right. Everybody has fault. Everybody has blame in this situation. And I just fully realized it this week. It fully came out this week. And Nick nurtured Phyllis all the way through this. And he handled it so well. He's sitting in her apartment while she is completely breaking down, and he managed to stay neutral. Very neutral, in fact. I mean, she flat out asked him what she should do, and he could have said, "Give Lucy back to my sister." I mean, we know that's what Nick wants. I mean, his sister is hurting Victoria, and Billy's marriage is falling apart because of losing Lucy. And Nick could have said to her, he could have pushed her. He could have said, "Just give Lucy back to my sister." But he did not do that. He listened, and he let her come to the conclusion all on her own. I really appreciated Nick this week. Nick Nick was doing a lot of negotiating this week. I feel like Nick came in and gave the situation some sense. He made it make sense. And he did a lot of that this week. But before we talk about that, can we talk about Nick's hair? Because I feel that Nick's hair was in a fantastic place. I've been saying I guess we just got lucky because for the past couple of months, his hair was longer and it was curly and it was just cute. It just looked really good. I've been so into Nick and I loved his hair long and then he cut it. And I just feel like for so many years, he had that short buzz cut. When he was younger, he always had a close cut. And I just feel like Nick's face is long. He doesn't need to have short hair. He needs long hair to match his long face. I don't know why they cut it. He still looks good. Don't get me wrong. But I was disappointed. As soon as he walked in and he had his little short buzz cut, I thought, dang, I really liked it. I liked casual Nick. Nick also walked into the Billy and Victoria situation this week, and he decided to try to inject a little sense into that also. He goes to visit Billy at his trailer, his nasty, dirty old trailer. Walks right in, sees Billy passed out on the floor amongst all these beer cans, looks at him and says, "You look and smell like you just fell off a garbage truck. Come on, get it together, man. I mean, you're gonna let yourself fall apart? You're just gonna go back to being a drunk mistake?" And I appreciated Nick for telling it to Billy like it is. Again, I think Billy needed to hear it. Now, who also needs to be told some reality here is Victoria. And Nick tried. But Victoria, I almost can't believe it. After all of those months of fighting Victor with tooth and nail, acting like he was the worst person on the planet, forcing him to dismantle his company, Victoria decides to agree to go back to work for Victor. And I just feel like you know what? I'm going to go on record now. Don't let me forget. When Victor turns his colors, when he changes and everything, it's not roses and happiness and board seats and power and newness, and everything goes back to the way it always was, I am not going to cut Victoria slack. She knows what she's getting into. She chose to do it anyway. She's making a huge freaking mistake going back to work for Victor when she has so much money and so many other options. It's like her relationship with Billy fell apart, so she just fell back into Daddy's arms. And Victor promises her that she's going to have autonomy. He promises her that she's going to have say-so. She's going to have a board seat. She's going to be a COO. Of course she's going to have power, but you know, and you should know by now, that at the end of the day, it is Victor's way or the highway. Those are the only two options. I just can't believe 6 months ago, she was leading the charge against him. And now she's the very person who forced him, who cost him all that money, forced him to take his company public. And now she's his right hand. She should have done what Nick just did. She should have gone out and had her own business venture, because Nick, while he's talking to Billy, telling him to get his act together, Billy flippantly says, "Do you want to buy Restless Style? Here, buy it from me. I'll sell it to you cheap. Take it off my hands. I got bigger things to worry about." And Nick, honestly, in kind of a Victor-esque sort of move, decides to take advantage of Billy when he's down. When Billy's down, just on a whim decides to sell his business, his source of income, his whole freaking income, life. I mean, he can't have that much money because he was gambling away his inheritance a long time ago. Just decides to sell Nick the business, and Nick could have taken it as a flippant thing. I mean, Billy was drunk when he said it. Nick comes back over to Billy's trailer the next day with papers. Offers to buy Restless Style. So now Nick owns Restless Style. I mean, Billy probably sold it for way less than it was worth because he just wanted to get rid of it. And now he's going to blow all of that money on horse racing. I don't understand him. I feel like I'm related to him. Because he's just got that mentality, and you just can't fix him. I don't know. I just don't know. Victoria is so stick up the butt that she and Billy worked. Like, she was what kept him in check. The only thing. And he was so free that he balanced out her stick in the butt. And they are just not able to get it together. It's really unfortunate. Reed had to go home to Billy and Mac this week, and Billy and Victoria almost had this moment of reunion when Victoria mentioned that she's going back to work for Daddy, and Billy was like, seriously? He gave her the, are you kidding me look, and it was all over. The progress was all over. So Billy and Victoria, as much as they clearly need each other, I'm just not looking forward to Victoria going back to being this cold business person and Billy going back to be this complete drunk. They need each other. I feel they do. They give each other balance. But I am excited about Nick and Restless Style. A, because Nick needed something new to do. B, because Restless Style is snooze fest right now. There's nothing going on. And I'm hoping that maybe Nick can give Restless Style a new life. I mean, Billy took it in a very gossip rag kind of direction, and we know that Nick is not going to do that. I mean, he's going to do something completely different, and I'm excited to see what Nick is going to do. His new haircut, his new business. I'm excited to see where Nick is going to go. His first order of business, he hires Phyllis. He hires his ex-wife, who he recently slept with. And my friends, I am telling you right now that we are on the road back to Nick and Phyllis. Mark it. Put it on your calendar. Anticipate it. Nick and Phyllis are totally going to get back together. So, congratulations to the fic fans. I mean, with the tender moments that we had during their little then Phyllis's little breakdown, and then this little, I need you to run Restless Style with me. You're the perfect person for it. And don't forget, I'm a single person raising 2 children too. So, and the recent sex that was never really resolved or talked about. It just doesn't take a scientist to figure out that little chemistry. Well, happy birthday, Jack. Happy birthday. He had a lot of people wishing him happy birthday, including Phyllis this week. She tried to offer him an olive branch, and she bought him a birthday gift, and she went to visit him at his office, and then she took him out to lunch. And things are still very tense with Phyllis and Jack. And I have been a Phyllis and Jack fan, as you know. I really, really... The fact that Phyllis and Jack didn't work out breaks my heart. And I think it breaks Jack's heart, too. He is still obviously angry with her. They broke up because Phyllis slept with somebody else. And Jack is also angry with her because of her actions having to do with Lucy. And so he's just bitter toward her in many different ways. But Phyllis is fighting to hold on to any friend that she can possibly have. So they have this luncheon conversation, and Jack actually said to her, while they were talking about Lucy, I was so mad at him for this. He, is mad obviously because the Lucy situation broke up Billy and Victoria, broke up his brother and his wife. And he says to Phyllis, well, I guess this isn't the first time you've been involved in a couple breaking up because of the loss of a child. He actually said this to her. He is comparing the situation with Billy and Victoria and Lucy with Nick and Sharon and Cassie. What? I mean, where did you pull that out of? I mean, did he have a little bag of things that I can really say that will really hurt Phyllis right now? And then he pulled that out and just whipped it down on her? I mean, Phyllis didn't kill Lucy. Cassie died tragically in a car accident. Phyllis didn't kill Lucy. Phyllis is Lucy's family. And frankly, she's taking responsibility for what her son won't. I'm sorry. When people start ganging up on somebody, I gotta defend them. I've got a good heart. You should like that about me. And I just feel like if Jack wanted to take a stab at Phyllis, he could have talked about all of the crappy things that she did to him. I mean, Phyllis screwed him over. She just went out and just slept with Nick, didn't even think about Jack, and just ruined their relationship. Why not get mad at her about that? Instead of, just, I don't know. It bothers me when I don't like to see anybody be a punching bag. But they made up. It didn't ruin Jack's birthday. And while Jack and Phyllis were having their lunch, Nick actually came over to talk to Phyllis to offer her a job. And Jack was left alone with Genevieve, who decided to pop up and kind of insert herself into the Jack and Phyllis situation. And actually, okay, Jack and Phyllis are sitting at the table having lunch. Genevieve just kind of saunters up with a glass of her finest champagne in her hand, and she starts probing and prodding. I mean, she sees Jack sitting with Phyllis, and she wants to know who she is. Who is this Phyllis? What's the situation? Because Genevieve has got her eye on Jack, and she gave the eye to Phyllis. I mean, did you guys see that? Genevieve was giving Phyllis, like, the meow look. Like, that's my man. So Phyllis goes away to talk to Nick, and Genevieve sits down to talk to Jack, and she has just got this coy thing down to a pat. I mean, Jack is clearly interested in Genevieve, and Genevieve is she's just swinging around like she's almost like she's catnip for him or something, It's just, she's just got him on the string. I mean, this girl knows how to reel a guy in. Jack says to her, he's very slick, and he in a slick way asks her for her phone number, and Genevieve just says, no, I'm not going to give you my telephone number, but you'll see me around. And then leaves the table. And Jack's sitting there kind of with this stunned smile on his face, like, what just happened here? I mean, really, she's playing a pretty good game. You gotta give it to Genevieve. So, it was Jack's birthday this week, and Kyle paid him a visit in his office. So Jack's in his office at Jabot. Kyle comes in, and did you guys see when Kyle sits down in Jack's chair, looks up at Jack, and asked if he was going to work there someday at Jabot? And I don't think I have ever seen Jack so happy in my whole life. Standing in his office at Jabot that he has fought so hard for, looking down at his son sitting behind the desk in his chair, asking if someday he's going to run that business too, Daddy. Oh, damn, that was a good moment. I mean, I think Jack exploded a little inside when that happened. It was really great. Of course, it was also followed by, Dad, are you gonna go to jail? Are you and Mom gonna go to jail? Because I heard at school that you guys got subpoenaed. And I don't know. I don't even know how on earth Jack is gonna get out of this. I don't know how Adam is gonna get out of this. I don't know how anybody's gonna get out of this because it's so obvious what they did. I can't imagine that they're all gonna walk away free. In fact, no, they're not. The only one that's gonna get punished for it is Diane. Diane has made a couple of bad deals with the devil. She gets summoned by Victor this week because Victor has the bright idea that he's going to absolve Diane from this SEC thing. He's going to tell his crony at the SEC that Diane had nothing to do with this whole plan. And in exchange, Diane is going to go to the DA and tell him that she was wrong about what she saw the night of Tucker's crash. So Diane is the only key witness to Tucker's to the accident with Tucker, and Diane was of course prodding, saying Ashley did it. Well, Victor's not going to let Abby's mom go down like that. So he makes this little deal with Diane, which is, it seems like such an excellent deal. I mean, she still wins, she still gets the money, and she gets away with the crime. So she goes to the DA, recants her story completely, and the charges against Ashley are dropped. All of that, boom, gone away. All of the trouble Abby caused, all of the trouble Ashley got into, it's all gone away. And it's because of Diane. Problem is, although Victor had Michael attempt to have the limelight taken off of Diane, that didn't end up happening. The SEC doesn't really care what Victor says, so it turns out. And they've decided that they're going to move forward with investigating Diane anyway. She is in the worst possible situation. And I also want to say that there was a moment this week that was totally noteworthy. It was between it was between Diane and Michael. And Diane has just found out that she went and held up her end of the bargain with Victor. But she didn't get what she was supposed to get. He didn't hold up his part of the bargain. Victor guaranteed that she wasn't going to be in trouble, and she's still getting in trouble. And she decides to take it out on Michael, and she's looking at Michael, and she's feeling betrayed. And she's, saying, you're no better than the rest of them. I just feel like I'm surrounded by vipers. And isn't it true? I mean, she really is. And the reason why I accidentally said Mara West is because I keep thinking, I just can't believe that they fired her. I just can't believe that Mara West is no longer going to be on the show because she's so excellent. I mean, I admit freely that I was not liking her around the time when she was in that horrible endless triangle with Victor and Nick. I was not feeling it, and she was just doing all these nasty things. I mean, just when she married Victor, it ruined her for me because it was just so transparent, so clearly just about money, and it just turned me off of the character. But now I'm getting used to her, and it just shocks me because I think it's her voice. She has an excellent voice. She just, the way she just, she just comes at you and she's just not nice and she just doesn't care and she just raw, I mean, there's something about it that has become endearing to me, and I'm just so mad that she got fired. I'm so mad that she's not going to be around and that she's going to end up taking the fall for all of this because she also sits down to lunch with Adam this week, and girl, she needs to know to stop listening to Adam. She needs to stop it. Stop right now. Getting involved with Adam and Victor and Jack has never gotten you anything that you want, so stop. Adam gives her this song and dance about how she needs to help him. She needs to help him follow this plan through, whatever it is, the next phase that he wants her to do. And she goes along with him. She's like, yeah, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. What can I do? Fine, I'll continue to help you, whatever. The entire time, he's recording her with his phone. So he's leading her questions that make her sound like she's totally guilty, like she did the whole SEC thing all on her own. It's just, and Adam, Adam's not going to take it to the SEC unless he has to. He got his insurance is what he got. He got his blackmail is what he got. Little did he know, Diane doesn't trust him. She turns around, goes right to the DA, tells him, look, I want to help you catch Adam. He's the one that's behind this whole thing, not me. But we're just going to have to see. Because I'm telling you, I feel like she's going to go to jail for this entire thing. I feel like Diane is the Patsy. She's going to take the fall for Adam and Jack. I guess at least it leaves the door open for a return, I guess. I wish Y&R would rethink getting rid of her. I just feel like they didn't give her enough time or enough likability until now. I'm not even starting to feel the character of Diane, getting a good sense of her until now. And I know she's going to be gone. I hate it when they do this. But at least, okay, if she ends up taking the fall for this whole thing and ends up going to jail, at least it leaves the door open for her to return. Believe me, if the Sam and Sharon thing hadn't happened, this week I would have been talking about Ashley and Tucker first. I didn't think anything else was going to be able to upstage that storyline for the storyline for me, but I love Ashley and Tucker, and I want to start out by saying that Ashley looks amazing right now. She has had some bad styles over the years. She has had some questionable hair. She's had some questionable outfits, but I am so into her right now. She has perfect hair. Her hair is perfect. She has perfect highlights. Like, the color is just gorgeous. She has, like, perfect, fresh makeup with just smoky eyes. It's just, she looks so freaking good right now. And I actually Googled Eileen Davidson this week for the purpose of finding out who she was married to, because I thought it was a soap guy. I think that was one of her exes. And if you guys go to Google, again, obviously I've Googled some things this week. If you go to Google and you type in Eileen Davidson, you know that whole autocomplete thing that you see in the search engine? Like, you'll type it in and it'll try to complete your search. Well, one of the things that that Google tries to suggest to you when you type in Eileen Davidson is, Eileen Davidson, a man? A man. Like, there are people out there, apparently, who have questioned Eileen Davidson's genetic gender. I can't even, believe it. And I can't imagine how horrified she must be that people would say that about her. Who looks at this woman and says, that's a man? Oh, that's gotta be a man. Who says that? If anybody out there, if you've been guilty of this, feel free to come forward. But I just don't understand it at all. I think she's beautiful. So, where we last left off, Tucker had just woken up. He had just opened his eyes and he had just uttered his first sentence. Why did Abby try to kill me? Oh, everybody heard. Ashley heard it. Catherine heard it. And luckily, to Catherine's credit, Catherine is stepping back and letting Ashley take the lead on this one. And Ashley has a moment alone with Tucker, tries to straighten him out. I am thinking to myself the whole time, is she going to tell him the truth? Is she going to tell him the truth or is she going to lie to him? What is she going to say to Tucker? What is she going to lead him to believe? Because he's looking to her. Tucker's looking at her. He don't care about Catherine. He don't care about anybody else. He's looking to Ashley for answers. He wants to know what happened to him. And Ashley lies to him. This woman is sticking to her lie at all costs. It doesn't even matter. It's just that is her story, and she's sticking to it. Even though, by the way, both Ashley and Abby confessed to Tucker while he was in a coma. I mean, I'm almost wondering if Tucker's gonna remember one of those. I mean, I had a feeling that it was Abby's confession that brought Tucker out of it, brought Tucker out of the coma. But Ashley lies to him. She tells him, no, I was driving the car. It was a horrible accident. And I don't know. I don't know if Tucker is understands that she's lying and trying to protect her child and is okay with that, or if he genuinely believes her. I am of the mind that he's so confused right now that he believes her. He thinks he just must have been wrong. Obviously, for some reason, it was a horrible accident and Ashley hit him. Now, of course, Tucker is barely lucid for 20 minutes, and the DA is in his hospital room asking him questions. He is on him. And before Tucker really even is oriented at all. And apparently Tucker tells the DA he doesn't know what happened that night. Leave me alone. The DA leaves. Ashley comes back into the room, and they start to continue to share these moments together. And Ashley's sitting on his bed, and she puts on Tucker's glasses for him for the first time. And I know there were a lot of people out there who were happy to see those glasses back on. There are a lot of people that are anti the horns rim glasses, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's sexy. I was happy to have Tucker back into his horns rim glasses. And I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to be 100% honest. There were several times this week where I was like, dang, Tucker looked good. Because he's got good hair. You can't deny. He's got good hair. He's got rugged good looks. He has a sexy voice. And frankly, I love the glasses. The glasses are a huge turn on for me. So I love seeing Tucker back in his black horns rim glasses. And the problem is, Ashley's sitting there with him, and he realizes that he isn't understanding what's on the paper. He's looking at, he's trying to get back in business mode, and he doesn't understand anything about what's going on. He's having trouble understanding business concepts, business plans. And Ashley tries to help him. I mean, she tries to help him, but she tells him, it's been a long road. You just came out of a coma. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. And I don't know if it was just a moment of him being overwhelmed and just him feeling at his weakest point, feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't, if I can't understand business concepts, who am I? That's all that I am. I think in this moment, he just looks up at Ashley, and she's there being so calm and so reassuring, like, we're going to get through it. It's going to be fine. And he just looks at her and says, marry me. And she's like, of course I want to marry you. And he says, no, marry me now. Marry me now in front of everybody. And I'm such a sucker for this. I love Ashley and Tucker. I want to believe in Ashley and Tucker's love. There's something there. I feel like he is the best possible match for her. I mean, they must have cast him just for her. It just works for me. And they got married, dang it, right there him in his hospital bed, and Ashley at his bedside, in front of the orderlies, in front of the doctors, in front of everybody. They just got married. It's so good. So good. Of course, the last person to know is Catherine. Catherine was not aware that this was going to be taking place. And Catherine comes back in, not happy about it. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Catherine has been trying to talk to Tucker about business, because that has been her task for the past several weeks while he's been out of it. She's been all about trying to make his freaking business decisions. So they're trying to have, talk about it, but Tucker's having trouble understanding these ideas. But I mean, you can't be in a coma for a month and then expect to come back immediately and start grasping business concepts like, a couple hours after waking up. It feels like Tucker is being very hard on himself, and he does not want Catherine or anybody else to know that he's having this trouble. It's breaking my heart. It's like he's stressing out. The look on his face when he's looking at these business contracts or whatever, he looks so distressed. It is absolutely breaking my heart. He has asked Ashley to run McCall Unlimited for him while he's incapacitated. He fires Catherine, asks Ashley to take care of it all. And the saddest part is he looks at her and he's like, and no one can know why. Basically, he wants Ashley to be his eyes and ears. He wants Ashley as his extension, of himself. And it's so sad. He's just looking at her like, you have to help me hide this secret. You have to be there. You have to take on this responsibility, and no one can know that I am incapacitated because they would have me out so quick. It's really sad. The whole thing is, I just kind of feel like, though, he's jumping the gun, isn't he? Is it that urgent? I mean, he's freaking out, like, I don't know, as if he can't get it up or something. It's like, dude, you can't grasp complex business concepts. It's not like you can't get it up or something. Okay, now we can talk about Catherine. Catherine assumes that Tucker has come back to the land of the living because God has bowed to her incredible pressure. Catherine she's being a stick in the mud right now. She's really being a thorn in the side of the Tucker and Ashley reunion / love fest. Catherine hears that with the second Tucker comes back into consciousness, he has the impression that Abby was driving the car. Catherine hears that. She goes right to Victor, and she asks him, why is it that Tucker feels that Abby was driving the car? And Victor, clearly guilty, clearly knowing the whole story, pretty much protests too much. He's like, no, of course not. No, I mean, wow. He pretty much oversells his case, which might work with everybody else in the world, but it's not going to work with Catherine. Catherine knows that something's up. I mean, for now, it seems like the secret is safe. I mean, Ashley's off the hook for the murder. We'll talk about Abby in a little bit. It seems like for now, the secret is safe, but Catherine is still picking at it, and she doesn't like that Ashley just has butted right in there. I mean, Catherine wants to have time with her son. I mean, Ashley is pretty much monopolizing his time. Catherine tries to get into the room to talk to him, and, like I said, she just wants, they have to talk about business, and Tucker is very frustrated with her. I mean, she starts to tell him basically about everything that happened with Jabot and everything that's happened since he's been out and the decisions that she's made, and he's not happy. He feels like she has undermined him, but he's confused too. Still, he doesn't totally understand what's all going on, and so it's which, by the way, totally reinforces my original thought of why in the heck did Tucker name Catherine executor in the first place. Why did he pick her to run his business in the first place? He could have picked Sophia. I mean, he needed somebody with business acumen. There were 100 other people he could have chosen from. But no, he comes back and he's, even though he's put Catherine in charge, he's not happy with the decisions that she's made. And by the way, I think Catherine needs to get some credit for sitting down at his bedside and agonizing over every decision that she's made. But no, Tucker is Mr. Grumpy, coming out of his coma, and he is just not cutting Catherine any slack. And Catherine is not going to be backing off anytime soon. Okay, well, the last thing we need to talk about here is Abby. Now, Abby tried to confess everything. She tried to make her little naked heiress video to tell everybody the truth, that she was the one driving the car that hit Tucker. But it didn't exactly work, because creeping around in the background, for one thing, is Deacon. Abby's recording this whole thing at Glowworm, and Deacon's just being weird in the background, keeping an eye on her. And let's be sure that we talk about Deacon's new hair. I've had some issues with Deacon's hair for a while. But now they've basically kept the bad haircut but changed the color. Deacon now has, instead of having that kind of beach blonde look, I said beach, not bleach. He now has dark hair, but it's horrible. It's long, and he like tucks it back behind his ears. It's like slicked back. It was just, why dye his hair and not cut it? I just don't understand. But Deacon managed to swipe the camera that had Abby's big confession on it. Meanwhile, Abby gets kidnapped by Victor. Victor realized real quick that Abby was not going to be stopped. She was going to try to get her word out there, and Victor did not want her telling the truth. So he kidnaps Abby and whisks her away to a rehab. Not the same rehab that Nikki's in. It's a different kind of rehab. And first of all, on their way in the private jet, on their way to the rehab, Victor is really giving Abby the hard sell about why she should keep her mouth shut. And I'm thinking, that's a great lesson for your kids. When they try to tell the truth, stop them at all costs. I mean, I understand Victor and Ashley's position on this, but I understand and fully support Abby telling the truth. I mean, just because the truth got buried, just because for now everything is safe, doesn't mean that the truth won't come up again. Doesn't mean it won't haunt you again. I mean, Abby is still going to have to live with that on her conscience. I mean, how could you... I can understand wanting to save your child, but you can't save them. You can't. You can cover it up, but you can't save them because the lie is still there. And I thought it was really interesting, too, that Victor actually said to Abby, looked at her during this argument and said, "Don't worry, I'll make it all go away." Which, in a way, it's like, wouldn't it be great if somebody could do that for you? Isn't that what we would all really love? Is if someone could come up, your biggest problem, and just come up to you and say, "I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to make it all go away." But that sounds like a deal with the devil to me. Even if somebody came to me with that kind of promise, I would not believe it. But I mean, so I don't know. I don't know if Abby's going to end up telling the truth. It almost seems like we're going to sweep this whole thing under the carpet. I mean, Abby did a real bad thing. And I don't take this as an anti-Abby thing because I do like Abby, but I just get the feeling that, okay, it's all resolved. Now we're just going to sweep it under the carpet and pretend like she wasn't drunk driving and running Tucker down, possibly on purpose. So, I don't know. But she is in rehab, which is what she needs. I mean, she can protest as much as she wants, and as brief as it may have been, but she did need rehab. Abby did have a problem. She needs to learn how to deal with her problems in a better way than drinking. It's not the solution. But she's not there for very long. Abby, while she's in rehab, managed to run into Eden. Eden is back. She's a different actress who I don't really have an opinion on yet. I haven't seen her enough to really say much. But Abby runs into Eden at the rehab. I don't totally understand why Eden is in the rehab, because I kind of get the impression that this is like a rehab for young girls. It's just like hey, do you have some problems and you have enough money to just get away? And I get that impression from it. I don't think Eden had a drinking problem. I could have totally missed this, but I kind of feel like maybe I could so be wrong. But there was some kind of joke that I missed about maybe having an eating disorder or something. I don't know. I get the impression that this was a multi-issue rehab that's not just for alcoholics, and B, I don't get the impression that Eden was an alcoholic. I would freaking love to know why she was in there. And, of course, the other layer on this is Noah. something happened while Noah and Eden were in Paris. Something happened to her, something happened to him, and their relationship all fell apart, and we don't really know why. But I am curious to know. I mean, I seemed like something bad happened. I kind of like that Eden is a little bit of a darker character, and she did make a comment about how Noah inherited his father's rescue gene. So I get the feeling that whatever it was, Eden had some kind of problems. Noah tried to get up in there like Nick would have and try to fix it, and it didn't work, and that's what destroyed their relationship. But I'm wondering what the dark secret that Eden has is, because I feel like it's something, and I really want to know. She's got some dark genes. I mean, she's Michael and Kevin's sister. Let's not forget that. And those are two characters with some dark past. So something happened in there, and I'm curious to see what it is going to turn out to be. The other pleasant thing was that, of course, at first it was a contentious relationship between Abby and Eden. They never got along when they were in Genoa City. They couldn't be two opposite characters. I mean, they're night and day. But I really thought that, they started to get along. They realized that what they had in common is problems. It doesn't matter, what mask you decide to put on, what costume you decide to put on for the world. Everybody has problems, and they kind of connected and bonded over that moment. And I thought it was really nice, and I have to say, I do think I enjoy a rivalry. While I do enjoy a classic Y&R rivalry, I kind of think I like Abby and Eden better as friends. Okay, you guys, that is gonna do it for me for this week. I think this is gonna turn out to be extra long. So there was no video component, but you get an extra long audio version, so that balances out, right? I probably rambled this entire time. I'm able to stay focused more on camera, but just audio, I just ramble. And plus, I usually kind of, think about what I'm going to say beforehand, and this time I did not do that. So I'm sorry if this was a much different Y&R chat for you, but hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. There's so much going on, and I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. It's gonna be exciting. I mean, first of all, I can't wait. Sherry and Sam and Ashley and Tucker, those are my two favorite stories right now, and I'm excited to hear what you guys think about that. So please do leave me a comment. I always love hearing from you. You can leave me a text comment. You can go to my website at yrchatblog.blogspot.com. You can leave me a voice comment at area code 309-588-4569. Anyway, you guys decide to get a hold of me. I am always excited to hear from you. So, that's all. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I will be thinking of you. I will be watching the show as usual right along with you, and I will see you back next week, hopefully in full video version, hopefully in continuing on as per usual next week. I'll be looking forward to it. All right.